Pushback to proposed tourist motorcycle ban, and Bali governor talks Roosters. Stay tuned for details. Selamat siang. Welcome to the latest news from Bali in Indonesia. This is March 15th, 2023, and my name is Bruce. And what is the weather like today? If you watch this channel, you know why I'm laughing. Right now, it is sunny and beautiful. Oh, I hate to say that. And it is 30.4 degrees Celsius, humidity is 62%, and the wind speed is a breezy 21.4 kilometers per hour, and I hope it stays this way and I don't jinx it. I hope the weather is beautiful wherever you are. Okay, this is a really quick update. I'm just going to focus on the bules behaving badly, the traffic, the ban, and all of that. Nothing else. There is so much stuff to talk about. So many things outside of that going on, cultural things, agricultural things, volcanoes, eruptions. But this is short and it's just an update because looking at social media today, it seems like the apocalypse is coming based on this proposed motorcycle ban and the revocation of the VOA, the proposed revocation of the VOA for Russians and Ukrainians and who knows who else. But, well, I've been preparing for the zombie apocalypse for a long time now, so if the apocalypse is coming, I'm all set for it. And I asked my lovely wife about the apocalypse today, and she said, what apocalypse? And I said, well, you know, tourists not being able to drive motorbikes and the VOA issue and bules behaving badly. She said, apocalypse? Apocalypse is coming? Great. I'm not going to do any more laundry. So that's our take on the apocalypse up here in Kampung Bugis. And at the very end, a household tip that I just discovered yesterday after years and years of irritation trying to do something with cleaning my bathroom. And I've got a tip. Maybe you know it, maybe you don't. I didn't know it, I just found out. I've been here 33 years. You learn something new every day. Okay, let's talk about the pushback to the proposed motorcycle ban for tourists. Well, the other day I said that just about everybody in the government, every important official, has had something to say about the bules behaving badly, with the exception of Bapak President Jokowi. And yesterday he was cornered and asked about this. Foreigners are acting up in Bali. Jokowi asked the governor. So the reporter said, okay, so the tourists are acting up, the foreigners are acting up in Bali, and the governor is upset. And what do you think about that, Mr. President? And the president responded, ask the governor. Wow, talk about avoiding the issue. He also did not comment much when mentioned about the many Ukrainian and Russian foreigners who have fled their countries because of the war and come to Bali and have been in the news because of bad behavior. The president said, they're here for tourism. And that is that. So that's the public response to the president. But considering that the news about the motorcycle ban, the proposed motorcycle ban, and the proposed revocation of VOAs for Russians, Ukrainians, and maybe some other countries as well. And this is in one of the big story here at BBC, but it has been everywhere, Australia, Europe, it's all over the world now. And I'm sure the president has had some stuff to say to the governor. And so what about some more feedback on this? Governor of Bali forbids foreign tourists from renting motorbikes. Tourism experts and motorbike rental associations disagree. It's like catching rats burning their barns. Not the best translation here, I'll give you a better one in a minute. Tourism observer from Udayana University, Nyoman Sukma Arida, disagrees with Bali governor's plans to issue a regulation prohibiting foreign tourists from renting motorbikes and asking to revoke visa on arrivals for Russian and Ukrainian tourists because they often misbehave. According to the professor, not all tourists have bad behavior like those that have gone viral on social media lately. He said it's like catching rats by burning down the barn. Spokesperson for the Bali Motor Rental Association, PRM, also agreed. They said this would be detrimental to motorbike rental business owners who are recovering just now from the COVID-19 pandemic. Chairman of the Bali Motorbike Rental Association, PRM, said, well, there's a lack of public transportation in Bali. And also, of course, you're going to ruin the businesses of our association members. He said, is the government ready for mass transportation solutions if they ban motorbikes? Because, he said, tourists are using two-wheeled vehicles, motorbikes, in some areas, and traffic jams continue to get worse. What's going to happen if everybody's in cars? Wow, can you imagine that? Get rid of the motorbikes, the tourists on motorbikes, and you've got them all in rental cars? Forget about getting anywhere. You're not going to go anywhere. Go back to walking. He said the provincial government of Bali should strengthen the implementation of existing regulations, as many of us have been saying. He said if you find foreign tourists who are misbehaving because of the regulations, well, sanction them. But he said he suspects that the tourists are imitating locals. Now, this is a controversial point that comes up over and over. People like to say, on the one hand, well, the locals do it, so why shouldn't I do it? If they can get away with it, I should be able to get away with it too. Wow, that is, okay, I'm a parent, a grandparent, a retired teacher. I heard this so much. He did it, why can't I do it? What a lame excuse. On the other hand, you get foreign tourists that come in here, they don't know, they're new here, they see some locals driving the wrong way down a one-way street. I guess that's acceptable, I'll do it too. Or they see them park their motorbikes on the sidewalk. Well, they're doing it, it must be okay. I get that. All right, you're here, you're new, you see this, you see them doing something, you think, well, it's acceptable here, there's different rules, and so I'm just gonna do that. Fair enough. Driving without your shirt on? Driving without a helmet? Okay, there are a lot of locals that drive without helmets in some places. Up here in Bulaling, not that many, as I've said many times compared to others, but it's because there's more enforcement of the regulations up here. That's my feeling. I don't have any statistics to back that up, just from observations over the last 33 years. Personally, having been in a few accidents, thank God I had a helmet on because I've had 2 of them cracked, and that would have been my skull if I hadn't had a helmet on. One accident, my fault, I was driving too fast on a slippery road, should not have done it. The other, not my fault, a dog just ran out of nowhere and it hit me, knocked my bike over, and I went sliding, and I lost a lot of skin, even though I do completely dress when I'm driving a bike. I wear long pants, shoes, and a shirt like this. Of course, that doesn't protect this part of your arms. So anyway, the spokesperson for the Motorbike Association says, okay, look, the tourists are imitating locals. He said, our job as rental service providers is to provide understanding to prospective tenants. He said the association has its own rules, and namely, they deduct a security deposit of 500 to 3 million rupees, 500,000 to 3 million rupees. And if the motorbike user violates the rules, they keep the security deposit. Now, there's a good idea. He said this is a deterrent effect so that lessees comply with the rules. The association continued would convey their objections to the governor's proposed ban to Regional Representative Council, the DPD, as well as community leaders. According to the deputy governor, being a good deputy, he said the governor's plan is correct and it should be done in order to reorganize Bali tourism. However, he said the government regulation is still under in-depth study because it concerns the livelihoods of local residents. So, in other words, don't expect it soon. My guess is don't expect it ever. Back to the professor from Udayana, he said the policy would create a negative image in the eyes of other countries. He said, I'm afraid that where there are violations that we ourselves cannot handle and take extreme policies, a negative perception will emerge from other countries which are the main targets for attracting tourism. According to him, the number of cases of reckless foreign tourists on the road not wearing helmets and speeding could not be separated from the failure of the apparatus to enforce traffic rules. As far as he's concerned, travelers had been left free to break the rules without taking any action. He said in Nurai, people are free to ride motorbikes without helmets. No wonder the tourists don't wear them either. So instead of banning it, he said the provincial government should improve the vehicle rental system, starting from making sure the traveler has a valid driver's license, providing a security deposit, and ensuring strict action is taken if he violates the rules on the street. Because, he said, not all tourists behave badly. And like I said, the last several videos, you got a few bad apples and we're all going to pay for it if these kind of rules go through. Additionally, he said he does not agree with the government revoking visas on arrival for Russian and Ukrainian tourists. And again, he said it's like trying to catch a rat by burning down the barn. Not all of them behave outside the norm for tourists, he said. It does exist. It's just because of our negligence in providing education outreach, decisive action. And the BBC article had some interviews with tourists, Ukrainian tourists who said, this is going to be really bad for us because we come in here sometimes just for a week or so and we want an easy visa to come in, and so the VOA is great for us, and if it's revoked for us, well, it's going to make things difficult. Russian tourists that were asked about this issue refused to be interviewed by the BBC. And Pak Sandiaga gets into this too. Sandiaga wants Bali to reconsider scooter ban for foreign tourists. Pak Sandiaga is urging the governor to reconsider plans for the new policy on banning foreigners from renting motorbikes. He said such a policy required a comprehensive study of its possible impacts on the tourism industry. He said the motorbike rental is the kind of business that offers employment and work opportunities. He said to curb tourists driving recklessly, authorities in Bali should strictly enforce traffic regulations. If drivers have no riding skills, or in the case that an accident happens due to drunkenness, then there should be strict law enforcement, he said. There's a lot of stuff that can be done here, both in getting the tourists to abide by the rules and to get the rental companies to tighten up their procedures and policies. The chicken story, I mentioned this, I don't know, last week I think. Right? The chicken story was some foreigners living in a guest house in Jimbaran were disturbed by roosters in, I guess, the next building or something, and so they made a petition and turned it in, get rid of the chickens. Well, the immediate response was, never heard about this before. What are they asking? Well, the governor has something to say about this. Caucasians protest against the crowing of the cock. Koster asked residents to raise lots of chickens. Bali's governor asked residents not to pay attention to foreign nationals who protested against the sound of a cock crowing. This followed the emergence of the petition related to the sound of roosters crowing in a homestay environment in Jimbaran. He said, keep raising lots of chickens. It's not forbidden to raise chickens. The governor said if they don't like crowing chickens, they don't need to go to Bali. That's it. We don't have to have business with people like that. Wow, tough words from the governor. The head of the Bali Tourism Office, Pak Pamayun, also crowed in on this and said he invites foreign nationals who complain about the sound of the rooster to live elsewhere. If you want to stay overnight in peace, he said, don't stay in a settlement, don't stay in a homestay. According to him, Balinese people are used to keeping chickens and other animals such as cats, birds, dogs, monkeys, as pets, and he said foreigners must respect the local Balinese wisdom culture. The head of the regional office of Bali Ministry of Law and Human Rights also asked foreigners who were not happy with the sound of roosters crowing to stay elsewhere. He said he's told foreigners this. He said boarding houses don't have any regulations in Indonesia, this is Indonesia. So if you live in a boarding house, there's no guarantee of comfort, right? And he threatened to deport the American who started this petition and who shocked the Balinese people with his cockcrow petition. The foreigner will be deported again if he makes noise. He said The visa from the foreigner from America is still valid. He has no bad records or violations during his stay here so far. But if he makes another petition, it means he's deliberately causing an uproar in the community, and I'll just threaten deportation. Wow. Getting tough. You can see this thing is it just keeps steamrolling, and it's going to get worse and worse and worse. There are more reports, and I'm not even talking about them today, more deportations yesterday, and more plans on deporting some people, teaching dance, bringing pot into the country, false KTPs, refusing to pay to get into tourist sites. There's so many stories in the news. It's mind-boggling, and it's not going to stop right now. Something's going to happen here. There's going to be some decisive action by the government, maybe the president or one of his right-hand people like Pak Luhut or Pak Sandiaga Uno to step in and say, okay, look, this is a situation, this is what we're going to do. I don't know. But right now, this is bad. It's putting heat on all of us. Okay, that is it for today. Short and sweet, just focused on this. I hope it gets better. But as long as people keep violating the laws, there are people now that are going to be turning them in, and it's easy to do. Wow, you got hotlines. You just have to call and say so-and-so is doing something. You know, one of the bad things about that is, let's say you're a foreigner and you've got interactions with local people and they're not good for some reason or another. They could just turn you in just because they don't like you. And you're not going to get kicked out, most likely, but it could cause a problem for you. So this is what we've come to at this point. One of the only ways we're going to get out of this is for people to police themselves and chill. Just chill, follow the laws on the road, don't work illegally, don't put stupid stuff up on the internet of yourself running around semi-naked in places that are considered sacred. Just have a good time. There's plenty of beach clubs here where you can have a great time. You can run around in bikinis, you can drink and party and do all that cool stuff. You can still drive a motorbike around and see some of the traditional villages if that's what you're interested in coming to Bali for. You just need to keep a low profile. Oh, and here's my tip. So this is pumice, and pumice is a volcanic stone, and you can get it in these little handles. I bought mine in Tokopedia, 9,400 rupees. And this is great for getting rid of that hard water stains in your toilet, on your sink, in the shower, on the wall. I've been trying, vinegar and baking soda and all sorts of different kinds of mixtures over the years, and they work to some degree or another, but a lot of scrubbing, a lot of time wasted, a lot of buying this and buying that and mixing, trying to find the right stuff. I saw something about this on the internet the other day. I got one. I got rid of all the water stains in the toilet and the sink in 10 minutes. And it does not scratch the porcelain. It does not scratch the tiles. This thing is, wow. This is my life. People worry about one thing or another, and they want to do this and they want to do that. I'm a simple person. I'm an old retired anthropologist and teacher, and I find something to clean the bathroom with, and it makes my week. So, thanks for viewing. Be kind to someone today. Stay safe, and I will see you next time.